Um, well, to introduce you to the audience, who do you say you are?
Hey, my name is Terrell T-Rex Simon. I'm a R&G singer uh, from New York City, work in music business, and yeah, got some great music out.
That's awesome. How did you get into singing? How'd you get into R&B?
Uh, I mean, I think I started. Well, I didn't think I started. I started like in the church,
Mhm.
going to church, loving music, um, and I think it was just in my genes. Nothing that I tried to do. It's just already there.
Right.
So that's kind of how I got into singing, like going to church, joining the choir.
Mhm.
Um, and then from doing that, different connections led me to the R&B world.
Mhm. Uh, What's something about R&B you learned since you've been in the business that you didn't expect before? Like you didn't know about before? Like what's something you kind of learned along the way?
Well, I think that singers, rap, like we're all innocent in the beginning.
Mhm.
Like we just want to sing.
Right.
I think the business causes us to um, not like it as much,
Mhm.
but just wanting to grow up and sing, I didn't really take into um, consideration all the things that come with it.
Mhm.
So I think my biggest thing was just learning that
Right.
your business is public.
Mhm.
Everybody's always watching you, and you just have to be very careful of who you associate with and what you do,
Right.
and you just
Right.
have to be oh so careful. So that's kind of what I learned from like, being in it. Um,
Mhm.
Once you sign up for that, like you sign up for a bunch of other stuff.
Right. Is that something you learned to navigate pretty well, or is that
Yes. Yep.
gotcha?
I have a lot of friends in the business,
Mhm.
and I kind of that I worked with, and I kind of watched them
Mhm.
and what they went through, and I learned of sitting back of what to do, what not to do, um,
Right.
who to trust, who not to trust. So I had great um, experience with just sitting back and watching.
Right.
So I
But
learned a lot.
gotcha.
Yep.
But I guess just coming in fresh, it was just a lot you weren't prepared for.
Yeah, because there's no guidebook.
Right.
And if you ever had any family in the business, like Whitney Houston had a mom, like if you just coming into the business with no family in it, nobody to really like watch over you, you don't
Right.
know, so
Right.
you're learning as you go along. There's nobody to be there to say, you should do this, you shouldn't do this, save your
Mhm.
money, just different things.
That makes sense. I guess it's interesting to me because sometimes how would you say, you always hear stories after the fact, but for as long as the music industry's been around, whether it's rap, R&B, hip hop, country, like whatever genre it is, it seems to be kind of like in the same ecosystem.
Well,
And
you have to realize that at the end of the day, it's a business.
mhm, right,
Now you can sing for a hobby,
yeah,
go out and sing and be all right.
right,
But I always tell people the Whitney Houston story when
mm,
her mom said to her, "Do you want to be a singer or do you want to be in the business? Because if you want
mm,
to be in the business, it's a total different game, and we probably need to have a conversation."
right,
So you can sing and be free and do what you want to do. But if you call
yeah,
yourself want to be in the music business, then there's a turn and a lot that goes on that you pretty much have to do because it's a business. And at the end of the
Right.
day, people want to make money.
Yeah.
And if
But
they're not making money, then
mhm.
it doesn't make sense.
Right. But it seems like there's a difference between being in business, making money, and actually being humane, so to speak. But because it's like on the one hand, you could always be trying to just get the most amount of money for the least amount of work. At least that's how a lot of times business is portrayed, so to speak. But then it's like what gets missed is the people that are involved, especially the artists, or just like you can there's reasons why they have terms for like good business or bad business. You have people that are shady, and then at the same time, someone can say they're quote unquote successful,
Well,
but it's like
you have to
what is
look
that
at the
really?
root. You have to look at
Yeah,
the root of music.
gotcha.
Where did music start, and who started it, and who funded it?
Can you take me a little bit through that from your perspective?
Yeah, take a little to fit through it without saying too much. But
Okay. Yeah,
um,
yeah.
we know um, the music business is almost like the drug game.
Mm,
Most of the money that's coming through the music, putting up music, has come
yeah,
from places.
right.
So knowing the history and where it comes from, you already have, if you don't know, you already have idea of
Hmm.
what's going on. Uh,
Hmm.
it's not about family, it's
Right.
not about them caring for you. It's a business.
But it's like that
So
always seems to be the bait that's used to lure people into the same thing that keeps churning them out and just kind of
I don't think it's lowering because, like I said, when you broke coming up, you want to sing, you want to
right,
rap, you want to
right.
act, and it's
But I
innocent.
mean, but
It's
that's
innocent.
innocent
So
in the
you,
sense
you,
that that's like your self-expression, isn't it? Versus like, okay, now I'm doing it with this label, with this thing in order to get
yes,
paid, to get known. It's like,
yes. So if you don't
right,
like the business and you just
mm,
want to be a singer, just
right,
sing and put out music and bless people
right,
with it.
right. I see what you're
You don't,
saying.
you don't necessarily have to be in the business.
Right. So you've got to be clear about what it is that you want, where you want to be, and understand that if you go the business route, this is what comes with it versus,
Exactly.
hey, you just want to be famous and this and that. It's like
Yeah.
there's a price to be paid with that, and you got to understand if you're willing to pay that or not.
Yep.
So tell me about the music that you've got coming out.
Well, I just put an album out.
Hmm.
It's called The Package. We
Hmm.
call it R&G, stands for Rhythm and Gospel.
Okay,
And it's
that's
like
what I
a
thought you
totally new,
said earlier. RNG. I was
yeah,
like,
it's
I don't
like
think I misheard him.
a total new genre that I came up with because I didn't want to do gospel. I didn't want to do hip hop. I didn't want to do R&B. Like I just felt like I could do it all mixed in.
Right.
And I was like, God, what can I do that will set me apart? And like, why can't I sing gospel?
Hmm.
Is it devilish to sing R&B?
Hmm.
God is a God of love. Like love songs, I don't. So that's how I came up with R&G. I was like, God, just give me something that I could just bring out of this. And he was like, instead of R&B, R&G, rhythm and gospel. That's how I
Right.
came.
I like that. And what's it been like for you going this route versus going in the business route, or are you balancing both?
Balancing both because I am in the business. You
Gotcha.
know, uh, my record is on the radio. I'm touring. You know,
Mm.
doing different things. So I am in the business.
Right.
I just been in the business a while, so I'm pretty much. It hasn't been as hard as I thought.
Mm.
People are real accepted to it, but
Hmm.
you have to give thanks to like people like Kirk Franklin
Mhm.
and all of these guys that came before with hip hop, gospel, that at first
Right.
people didn't understand. But as time is going on, people are saying, you know, I say there's three things in life that are constant.
Mhm.
Three things: change, change, and change. So you have to
Mhm.
be willing to accept change
Right.
and don't get stuck in just what you've been used to. God is always doing something new. So you have to
Right.
learn how to, you know, don't sell your soul, but get with the
Mhm.
new. If you're in the business, you know,
Mhm.
and then, or you get left behind.
Right. So I guess it is being in the business the only way that you would be able to be on the radio or like have your music put out on
Yes. Because
multiple
radio
platforms.
people are in the business.
Got you.
You can't go to
Because
a radio
otherwise
station.
it's like,
You can't go to a radio station and say, "Yo, play my record," and it's
right,
not nothing in it for them. You know,
right.
everybody has a position and everybody's trying to make money.
Mhm.
And, you know, that's what you have to realize, you know, when
Right.
you're into the
So what's what's been kind of a highlight of 2022 for you?
my album coming out,
Mhm.
my song reaching #1 on the gospel chart,
Mhm.
and being nominated for Stellar Awards.
That's awesome. When you tell people
And
that
my
you
first
do,
album, independent, you know, huh?
go ahead. No, 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 go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's my first album I put out myself,
Mhm.
and it's been well received. So way beyond, you know, what I thought it would be. But that's been a
Right.
great highlight. Opening for Dave Hollister, who
Mhm.
was my idol, and just becoming friends with him, just sitting down with him, and just getting a lot of
Yeah,
knowledge about the business.
gotcha.
So I've had a great year. That's why I'm on break right now.
Right.
I ran around like I worked hard this year, and now we're prepping for the next album. And I think I just need to sit down for a second,
Mhm.
regroup, and
Right.
get back out.
What's the process like for you to get an album to put an album together?
Well, I have a producer. His name is Bernie Stevenson,
Mhm.
and I'm kind of like Puffy and Mary, how they did back in the day. We sit down, we have long conversations, and we take these conversations and we make them songs.
Mhm.
So that's like kind of like the process of how the music comes,
Right.
because I want to be as transparent for people that are
Mhm.
following me as possible. So,
Right.
you know, sometimes they see you and they just think that your life is perfect and you
Mhm.
traveling and got money and you on stages, you know. So the
Mhm.
music is a way, an outlet that you can let people know that I am like you. I do make
Mhm.
mistakes. I'm not perfect. I have a lot of wrong with me, but we
Mhm.
can grow together, you know?
Yeah, I like that. I guess what on that same note, what's a misconception people that have been either your fans or people that have kind of met you for the first time, what's a
I think
misconception?
just thinking I got it all together.
Gotcha.
Just thinking I got a bunch of money and I'm traveling, I'm
Right.
happy, you
Oh, you
know?
got this great voice, you're just
Yeah,
charismatic, you look good. It's
yeah.
like
You
out
know
here
what I
doing
mean?
your thing. It's like life must be great.
They really don't know, but there's great sacrifice that come with anything great.
Mm.
You're not gonna be something great, not go through and not go through something. And you have to realize that when you're going through it, that this is because of what I'm doing. Like this is to make me stronger, not to kill me. And that's what my
Right.
song "The Storm" is about. Trials come to make us stronger.
Mm. I like that. You're a pretty dope person.
You are too.
Thank you. So I guess for you, how long have you been in music? Like, is there anything that you do outside of music, or has music been the thing always, like through and through?
Music has always been a thing. My things. So I've been doing like my,
Mhm,
theater plays and stuff like that. But entertainment, I promote. I do a lot of other
mhm,
stuff on the scene, but that's pretty much it.
gotcha. Did you ever consider doing anything else, like just kind of stepping into a
Anything else,
different?
anything else I could do to make money.
Right.
So nothing that's pretty much going to interfere with um, the career, but anything that I can. Because in the meantime, you have to live, you have to eat,
Mm,
you have
right.
family, you have bills, so you can't neglect all of that. Like you have to, So in the meantime, enjoy regular life, and that's what
Right.
I'm doing now. I'm learning how to not want to kill myself because I don't have a number one record,
Mm,
or not want to be depressed because nobody's liking, or I'm
right.
learning that it's more to life than a number one record. It's
Mhm,
family, first of all, friends are probably like the most important thing because all that leaves.
yeah.
That's all you have. So I'm learning now not to think all day, every day about
Mhm,
records and music and charts. What you know,
r- right.
rec, go to the beach, lay down, enjoy your life. Go hang out with your friends.
Mhm,
Don't even have a conversation. Right? Learn how to enjoy life without pressuring yourself to be this chart topping, you know.
yeah.
And it's all good. If that's what you want to do, I have nothing against it, but I believe it's a
Mhm,
balance that comes with it.
yeah.
And learn to live at the same time.
Is this something new you were able to kind of accept for yourself, or like at what point did you kind of start to embrace this philosophy?
Just going through things and learning,
Gotcha.
you know, going through some hard trials and learning, like just in my family and not and all into the music and having to run back to it's like, oh, wait a second. Okay, this is real over here. That's not
Right.
real.
Right.
And, just going through things and you learn like what's real and what's not.
Mhm,
Happiness
yeah.
doesn't come from a number one record.
Right.
And I tell people all the time, look at Michael Jackson, Kid Cudi, Prince,
Mhm,
the richest people in the world with all the money, number one hit, that they all died of drug abuse.
mhm,
So it's what is the problem?
yeah.
Y'all, everybody loves y'all. I have the number one record. Like, you guys are like rich and famous and traveling. Why are y'all so depressed and
Yeah.
killing? And because there's a whole other dimension to it besides that. And if you just get caught up in that, then you will get caught up in that.
Right. Makes sense. I guess what would you say to
Like
like
you being an
when
interviewer,
right.
your interview, you might want to be the next Oprah, you know what I'm saying, or the
Yeah.
next whatever. But you have to learn that you have a life also.
Mhm, right.
You
And
can't
yeah,
balance it out.
to your point exactly, I think even starting doing this, the thing that I had to learn to do was stop looking to the left and right and stop looking on media and just be like, okay, this person's doing that and that person's doing that. It's like I really had to start asking myself, what is it that I'm willing to do? And what is it that I'm not willing to do? And just like recording just on the weekends and not trying to record something every day, or working the day job and like learning what I appreciated about my job versus like learning what I also appreciate about podcasting was like, oh, like I can enjoy both, but I've got to be willing to put limits on
Right.
when one thing goes and when the other one stops. That way it's not
Yep.
exhausting and draining, and then it's like, oh, now the thing I used to like becomes the thing that I can't stand.
Yes. And don't let your happiness be determined on your status of where you are in your interview.
Yeah.
You know,
Do you think
many
that's
people.
something my
Hmm?
bad. Go
No, go
ahead.
ahead. No,
I
you
was
go.
gonna say, do you think that is it always something you have to go through in order to understand? Or because I was gonna ask you earlier, like what's
You
a piece of
necessarily don't have to
advice?
yourself, but you can watch. God can put you some in an area where you can sit back and watch other people go through,
Right.
and you learn from watching. It doesn't necessarily have to be you going through it, but keep your eyes open, your ears open, and you learn. You can learn from just watching people. Oh,
Gotcha.
you know what? I'm not doing that. You know,
Mhm.
oh, I seen them go. I'm not doing that.
Right. That makes sense. Because as curious, because it's like you see so many young people that want to just be expressive, but it's like now more so I don't know if it's like you can get as much joy singing in the bathroom, so to speak, but it's like there's a difference between you singing in the bathroom or in the privacy of your own home versus like you sing in front of a phone and it gets a lot of love, or you sing on a
Yes,
stage and
because
people are like,
there's the fleshly part that we
yeah,
have. We were born in flesh for flesh. You want to
mhm,
be famous. You all of that stuff is great to the eye. You want to be
right,
this. You want the jewelry. You want, and that's something natural that just
right,
happens because the fleshly people who run the flesh is gonna want. Is gonna want.
right,
It's a daily struggle. You will never conquer your flesh. As long as you're living, it's a daily thing that you have to wake up daily and
mhm,
say no. You know, so it's not weird or you know out of shape for somebody to want to gravitate to stuff like
yeah,
that, you know. But you don't really know what it is until you get in it.
mhm,
So once you get in it, you learn, you see what it really is, and you move smartly from that point.
right.
If your eyes and ears, you know,
Very true. Because I guess really then the message would be to, like you said with your album, the package is really to pay attention, because it's like there is no getting rid of the music industry, so to speak. It's kind of it's one of those things you just have to deal with, but it's on us to pay attention, ears and eyes open to what is going on or where you're going, what's coming around you, and just be willing to say,
yes.
okay, I'm willing to do that or I'm not willing to do that, and just walk away or
I think
walk
yeah,
with it.
everybody's different. We all have
Yeah,
different limits. We all have all different expectations. So,
right,
my cautions may not be yours.
right,
You know, so you have to learn what are your triggers, what are your
mhm,
cautions, and and move from there. Because
right.
somebody angel could be your demon.
Mm,
Somebody demon could be your angel. So I'm gonna listen because I'm a listener and I want to take as much information as I can. So I'm gonna
right.
process it. But after that, I'm gonna say, Rex, was this for you
Mhm.
or was this for them?
How often
And
do you do that?
every day, because I don't want to never shut anybody down.
Right.
And sometimes I do, but because my ears are so open, a day or two later,
Mhm.
he hit me in the head like, Rex, you know what? That thing that you were against 2 days ago, that
Yeah.
actually was right.
So
So
yeah.
it's an everyday thing. It's an everyday process.
Right. How did you get your nickname T-Rex?
Life Jennings. So when I met Life, it was probably about 2002, 2003.
Mhm.
I was kind of corny coming up to church. I didn't really have like swag, like a nickname. I
Mhm.
get with these guys that street smart, they
Yeah.
all into the street. And they're like, you ain't got no nickname. I was like, nope. And Life was just like, okay, we're gonna call you T-Rex. Because they used to say I was a beast at singing.
Mm.
You a
Right.
beast, and my name is Terrell. So Terrexonosaurus starts with a T, so does Terrell. So he came
Mhm.
up with T-Rex like that. I would have never thought to call myself that.
Right.
But I'm glad he did because it gave me um character, gave me an image, and
Yeah.
it gave me a name that people would never forget. And I
Right.
meet people, T-Rex is like, oh, it ain't but 2 or 3 T-Rex.
Right.
So that's how I got the name, and I just went with it.
I like it. And it's nice when you get a nickname that works because it's like you'll get called out very quickly if you try to give yourself a nickname. It's like, where'd you get that one
Yeah.
from? It's like, oh, I thought it was cool. It's like, who told you that was cool? Come on.
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool. Like bringing in the beast and the Tyrannosaurus.
Yeah. Terrell,
And
T-Rex.
yeah,
I went with it and it worked.
yeah, that's awesome. Well, how can people get your album or just follow your
Um,
journey as you
I
as
have
you
a
keep
I have a
going?
website. It's
Mhm,
www.terrelltrexsimon.live.
mhm.
So you guys can go on my website and everything is there. Or my Instagram, King
Right,
RNG T-Rex.
right.
And I'm not on as much right now, but I'm very communicative. Is that a word? Communicative
Yeah,
with people so they can know where I'm at, what I'm doing. And I try to be authentic and real as possible without telling all my business, you know.
right.
I
Yeah,
think
keep
some
something for
things,
yourself.
yeah, I never tell everybody everything. It's none of their business.
That's a good point. And to bring back the first question I asked you, are you still who you said you were?
Am I what?
Are you still the person who you said you were?
The person who I said I was. What did I say I was?
Yeah.
Hmm?
Mhm. No,
You said, am I?
from the first question I asked you to introduce yourself to the audience, I asked you, who do you say you are? So
Who do I? Now you're asking
now,
what?
now I'm asking, are you still who you said you were?
I don't change. I'm the same. I'm never gonna be different.
Mhm.
And I try to be the same all the time. When you see
I like
me,
that.
like I try to be the same.
Mhm.
I don't like seeing somebody and you happy and we cool and hugging each other the next time you walk by me and you don't know who I am. Like I'm not that
Mhm.
kind of person. I try to be
Right,
like the same
right.
all the time. So if
It's-
to me, I'm an a-hole to you, then let me keep being that way.
You're not trying to switch up.
Or if I'm nice every time I see you, so at least when you know when you see me, you're gonna get the same thing.
Right. I like that, man. Well, this was a refreshing conversation. I forget how we met or how I just started following you online. It must have been through your music, but and just wanting to do a better job of actually connecting with people online. That's why I reached out and said, "Hey, like, can I just
I
interview you or
appreciate
just
it. And big
have
up
a
to Katina.
conversation?"
Katina made it happen. I love her. She's my angel. She takes care of me. We take care of each other. Let's
Right.
say that.
How'd you meet her?
Online, she was following me and it
Mhm.
wasn't a quick relationship. We chatted and talked and chatted and talked. And I come to find out that she always wanted to be a music executive.
Mm.
And at the time, I was working by myself and I needed help.
Yeah.
And I said, okay. you know, and she's just a great person.
That's
And we
what's
knew
up.
some of the same people. So I said, okay, let's try it,
Yeah,
and we're still in the trying phases,
right.
but it's been cool. It's been cool.
That's dope, man. It's it's nice to see that good things happen online rather than just the mess or the noise that would come through every now
Facts.
and then.
There's a lot of bad things, but there's a lot of good. I mean, it's 2022.
Yeah,
Everybody, there's people meeting online and getting married
right,
and living happily. So online is not like totally bad. Like you think it would be something
right.
you would do.
But like you said before, you got to keep those eyes and ears open.
Yes. Yep. Be humble, love everybody, be nice, and mhm.
Good stuff. Man, I appreciate this conversation and thank you so much for stopping by.
I appreciate you wanting to interview me, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Georgia. I got a lot of family out there, so when I come out there, I'll link up with you.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
All right. Thank you, bro.
You're very welcome. Let me see.